What's up, everybody? It's your boy CJ here, back again with another classic show review. And today's video is about Tyler Perry's House of Fame, House of Payne, one of the funniest shows ever. I mean, I freaking love this. I freaking love this show. You know what I'm saying? And like when it ended, I was surprised because I actually had came across something talking about how Tyler Perry was House of Pain was canceled. But then I was like, how is it canceled if it still got episodes showing, still new episodes. But then it eventually was canceled, ending off not even on a cliffhanger. It's how it ended off was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get into that later. Characters, you got freaking Curtis, Ella, Calvin, CJ, Malik, Jasmine, Janine, Miranda, my bad. Claritha is she was part of like all the way to 4 seasons. She was briefly in 6 and 5. Well, Claritha, she was part of the main character. And then you got Floyd. Then you got other characters like Pookie and Peanut, which they only appeared I think in the first 2 seasons or something like that. First three, like they was gone after that. You got the babies, which you got Calvin Jr., Jaden and Hayden. Then you got Christian. You got freaking Deshaun. Freaking what's that chick's name? Yeah, let me find her name. I can't. We got Nicole. She was like the first couple of seasons on CJ's first girlfriend. Yeah, Tracy. There you go, Tracy. And I mean, other characters. That's really it. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was so fun. Like, you got like the first couple of seasons. I mean, it got 8 seasons. But like the first couple of seasons, it's like so funny. It's so funny because you got Calvin's character is really that like he's in college, but he never finished college. He finally finished college. I think at like the final season. I'm like, it's like he kept changing his major over and over and over again. Then like one episode where like he was studying to actually pass his exam, but he got the time wrong, and cause like when he went to go take the test, the day had already passed. It was the day before that, I believe so, and he studied for no reason. But like, what, it was so funny because one scene where like cause kids freaking Curtis always has his chair. No one can sit in his chair. He always freaking grabs you and then throw you out his chair and all that stuff, or be like, get out my chair. And I was like, one part where like Calvin was sitting down in his chair, and I remember he grabbed Calvin and he freaking tossed him, and he was like, him and Jasmine was like, Jasmine would help him study, and like these little things, where you can put your stuff, the papers on. He threw him and he freaking knocked both of them things over, talking about, why do you always play it? It's just so funny, because they have so many jokes, stuff like that. Where you got where Janine started off being a crackhead. Well, yeah, she was a crackhead dealing with Blue. And she was like out the picture because they were trying to help her come back. And then had a part where she robbed them, and then Ella went to go try to get her stuff back. She didn't get her stuff back, but all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then you got where like she eventually she came back, got cleaned up, and then she like went to the rehab. Then she checked herself out the rehab, and then she eventually turned her life around, and she started living with them again. But her and CJ still were together. And then I remember one episode where CJ it was a party, and like it was her friends, and like CJ and Janine's friends, and they all thought that they were still together, and they wasn't. And so CJ got drunk, and then Janine had to help him come back, had to carry him back home, and then he ended up to the point he was like freaking so drunk that he wanted to they eventually had sex. She was not drunk, but he was, and they had sex. Woke up, and it was like, oh, Scott, and Kurt was like, oh, they did it. And then they was like, man, don't tell me you did it. He's like, I did it, man. He's like, was you drunk? I was wasted. You know what I'm saying? It was freaking it was funny, man. And then they got Calvin and Moran. Well, Calvin, he dealt with so many different girls. You got like CJ was going with Tracy. We're not really going together because like it wasn't really going together. Because like when Malik and what's his freaking name? I forgot that other boy's name. But when they stole Curtis' bike, Curtis not play a trick on him, but he pressed charges, had him go to jail, and everybody was like mad at him. We got CJ was like Curtis, and Curtis had jumped, and he had was like you know what I'm saying. They were like everybody was all mad at him, and Curtis was sitting there like, and after when they left, Curtis was like, hey Judge, can you pick me in protected custody? It was funny. That was funny. And then at the end, eventually had where like CJ was sleeping on the couch, and Curtis brought on, and he decided to not press charges on CJ and the other boy. I forgot. I can't remember his name. Then you got where Tracy told CJ that her and Calvin started dating shortly after the boys got out of jail, and then it was so funny because like when she told him, that was the same episode where like Janine took Malik and Jasmine out of school because she had a day off, and he had to like everybody was like, man, where the kids at? You know, the caller and John, and then like when they came over, like, Janine, I'm their father. You're supposed to tell me when you do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I understand you're the mother, but still let me know before you do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was worried sick about them. You know what I'm saying? Had with like he was, because CJ was mad at both Janine and Calvin, but they was like they kept trying to like, hey, no, what about, they kept throwing it back at each other to see who's going to try to make them focus on them first, focus on the other person who he's mad at. And he had what like he freaking chased Calvin to the kitchen. And he's like, CJ, man, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to do this to you. And then like he did a little dap thing, but then when he was about to finish the last dap, he was like, then you missed out. They already had sex, and then like CJ's like, get back my dap. You know what I'm saying? Freaking Tracy broke up with Calvin, and then like Pookie and Peanut tried to help Calvin get back to his regular self because he was freaking crying, had a little bear talking about Tracy. He was all like that. You know what I'm saying? And then he eventually dealt with Miranda, and first she actually robbed Calvin, and then when she came back, everybody was mad at her because Curtis was talking about, you gonna rob? He said she robbed you. She didn't rob you. She robbed me. That's my money. You know what I'm saying? Because Calvin, he don't got no job. He's lazy. He's a slacker. You know what I'm saying? Because you had like when she came back, that was the same episode where Malik was he brought this girl over to have dinner with him, but she was pregnant. And everybody when they saw her, it was like they thought Malik had got her pregnant. It was like, oh man, you in trouble, dog. Like talking about like, you too young. You don't even know how to raise a baby and all that stuff. And Malik was like, Dad, calm down. I'm not the father. They were like, oh yes, you know what I'm saying. And like that was the same episode that we had again when Calvin brought Miranda over, it was like trying to bury the hatchet. You know what I'm saying. And then they eventually Miranda and Calvin got together and all that stuff. Had a kid, Calvin Jr. No, my bad. Not Calvin Jr. Calvin Jr. was from Tracy, and dang, little baby's name, Tristan, was from Miranda. And you had it with like freaking the house got burnt. No. CJ's house got burnt down because of the whole thing about when she was on drugs. Janine was on drugs. But then you got Calvin got shot with one dude because Miranda, she was in the real estate, and that was one dude that he tried to own. That one dude, forgot his name. He tried to holler at her, try to kiss her, and then I think she like, damn, no one will get off me. You know what I'm saying? And he got mad at her, and then Calvin, I don't think no, Calvin did punch him though, because him and Calvin got into it, and then dude was talking about, you gonna pay for this, and that's when he ended up shooting Calvin, and then all that stuff was like, and that's where it ended up. Calvin was going through rehab, trying to, he couldn't really do too much no more to the point, you know what I'm saying, because after he getting shot, having trouble walking on his own and all that good stuff, and eventually that relationship still started going downhill because like how Calvin was like acting and all that stuff. He had other jobs. He had one job where like he was a security guard, but not really security. He was like it was like one part where he had to hurt his ankle, and Kurt was like, "How did you hurt your ankle, man?" I was like, "Don't you just sit around and stuff?" And he said, "What happened was he was running and he tripped in a pothole, hurt his ankle." But that last episode, the final episode where Miranda was like, "Calvin, I'm not happy no more," and then because Calvin he was doing his best to try to fix the relationship, but Miranda was like, she was telling him, "I don't." She was saying that I'm not happy no more. I don't want to be with you no more. And then she left him, had her bags packed, left him. He was like, and he got mad. He had like some roses and he threw it. And that was the final episode. And I was like, wow. I mean, I felt like if they were to continue that, it could like continue off because the whole time while that was going on, everybody else had Ella, Curtis, Janine, and CJ. They always have a dinner. And all this was going on. You and they, they didn't know none of this. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking that if he would have did continue, it would have been like telling everybody that Miranda left him. He tried to get her back, and she got a new boyfriend, something like that, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, obviously there's a lot more episodes, but I mean, overall, I freaking enjoy watching this because Curtis is funny. You know what I'm saying? What's the thing he always kept saying? You heard me? And he do a little thing like, you heard me? Do like that. And I remember every time he slams the door on people's face, he kick his feet out and like, and then freaking close, and then, slam the door. But I think that's really it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously a lot of episodes, I actually remember a lot of episodes, but I'm just going off the gist of like this everything, I just think of, you know what I'm saying? But freaking Janine, dog. I don't know her character's name. Let me find her right quick. But freaking her, for her, boy, she bad, dog. She is bad. You know what I'm saying? Cause like her hair, cause the first couple of seasons, her hair was straight black, and then the newer season it's like black with a little blonde in it. And CJ becomes the fire commissioner, cause with Uncle Curtis he loses his job, and then CJ becomes the fire commissioner. And then like all that good stuff. She just mad at him. No, my bad. Uncle Curtis is mad at CJ, but she's just telling him, it's not, Uncle, I didn't mean to take your job. I didn't try to do that. You know what I'm saying? Malik ended up going to college dealing with this one chick. She was like more like not like his way. I don't know. That's really it. I mean the dude that played the little boy that played let me go back to his name again. His name was Deshaun. He was living with Uncle Curtis and Ella because I think it was like he was in foster care or something like that. And like when he first was there, he always was cussing. He was actually cussing, but they were bleeping him out. And like he was freaking. He got to the point he was defensive, you know what I'm saying, and like eventually he started warming up to him and everything was all good. I mean it's like so many funny moments. I freaking love House of Payne. I mean I will buy the DVD, but not but I seen like the first the first couple of seasons. I've seen it. So I mean I've seen them episodes so many times. I'm not gonna tell you why. I mean, obviously, the reason why was because, like, when I was living on my grandma's house, they didn't have cable back then, and they had that one DVD, and they, like, kept watching over and over and over again. So if I ever buy the DVD, I'll buy, like, the later seasons, season 7, 8, those seasons. But other than that, that's all I have to say, you know what I'm saying? Freaking enjoyed House of Payne. I wish he would have continued for at least one more season and ended off a good note. But, hey, you know what I'm saying? That's done, you know what I'm saying? So, hey. That's all I have to say. Like the video, click that like button, leave a comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.